Hello everyone, welcome back to Azur Archives. In the previous episode, we covered the prologue and main campaign, which means we can now begin covering the event stories. The first of these is Divergent Chessboard, and on some versions of the game as opposite coloured. Unfortunately, Divergent Chessboard is one of the most disconnected events in the overall story. It's only referenced at the end of Tirpitz' secondary quest, and isn't clear where it fits in the timeline. Maybe a future event will help better connect it into the overall narrative, but for now, this is all we have. If two opposing bishops are on different coloured squares, they would be fated to never meet. A voice calls out, telling someone to wake up. The battle is about to begin. Tirpitz comes too, claiming to have dreamt about a lonely, desolate world bordering reality and the transient. Graf Zeppelin dismisses this. They are pawns, they do not dream. The closest to dreaming they can get is hallucinations of their memories. Any further discussion is cut off by Deutschland. He doesn't care if Tirpitz was dreaming or hallucinating. The only thing that matters is that the white pieces have entered the Mirror Sea. They need to prepare for combat. Deutschland plans on spearheading the attack, and she is skilled at interceptions. Expecting this battle to be easy, like all the previous times. He is mistaken, however, and hit, but refuses to surrender. She'd rather sink. Meanwhile, the tester muses over the gambit. It has failed 255 times now. The question is if this is all the natural calculation system is capable of. Observer replies it's a lot faster than she thought. Natural evolution just takes a long time. But this won't satisfy the judge. They need more pieces, just as long as it's not the mirror image ones. Observer claims using them will be fine. They'll perform as they are made to do, and her production capabilities can keep up, so long as they keep a template of the original. Tessa does not have to worry, however, she wants white to be an illusion this time. A pair of submarines enter the Mirror Sea. U-557 detects no signs of the enemy, and ascends to periscope depth. Kerr and U-47 comment on the strange nature of the Mirror Sea. The wind doesn't blow, and the pressure is higher. Suddenly, U-47's sonar picks up a signal. It's allied, and this confuses U-557. There shouldn't be any allied ships in here, but her sonar picks it up too. They decide to submerge and gather intel, with U-47 reminding 557 not to trust anything in a Mirror Sea. Meanwhile, Admiral Hipper finds the new white pieces, and at first glance she's not particularly impressed. She does acknowledge that they were able to defeat Deutschland, and while she doesn't feel any sympathy for her comrade, she can't let her performance give the wrong idea about the Iron Blood Fleet's strength. She then engages White, but is defeated. Eisenhower is next to meet the new White, and bemoans Deutschland and Hipper, letting them get through, as they always do. Can't trust them with anything. She confesses the attacking fleet has a 31.7% chance of defeating her, according to her simulations. In real combat, the outcome is unknown. She introduces herself and begins to put her theory to the test. Turns out she's wrong though. The enemy is stronger than she initially thought. She believes if she can join up with her sister, her odds of winning increase to 80%, and thus makes a tactical retreat. Tirpitz observes the battle intently until Graf asks her what's wrong. Every move made by White is different, and Graf speculates this might be what the judge is looking for. Tirpitz has been thinking, what if they're just stepping stones for White's evolution? The Sirens gave them their power, and this may be all part of their plan. Graf cuts her off though. Thinking like that will cause her to crumble. She must not let her sacrifice be in vain. Tirpitz pauses at hearing her, but Graf tells her not to mind, calling her a dreamer, like Tirpitz, and a fool for losing herself to what she believed were idealistic delusions, before admitting that she paved the way for a future for their kind. The Whites continue on, coming face to face with Scharnhorst. They might be different from the ones she's fought before, loath as she is to admit it. But none have escaped hope, and have now rejoined Sister's guns before and the battle begins. Tirpitz dreams. She dreams of snow, of aircraft, of an explosion and the dark ocean floor. A figure appears in her dreams, calling her sister. Tirpitz asks who she is, but all the figure can do is apologize. She figures out who the figure is, but believes it to be impossible. Bismarck does not exist in her memories. Bismarck apologizes again, claiming what she did was for the sake of Ironblood. She just wanted to make sure her sister knew this. Tirpitz is racked by a headache and an overwhelming sense of loneliness. Who am I? Just who am I, really? Tessa declares a state of emergency. One of the pieces has displayed an awakening result, increasing the synchronization rate with the player by 7%. Observer is surprised by this. She will not have the results the judge was hoping for. Once an awakening has been confirmed, she will dispose of the original's backup. Tessa has an idea. She'll activate the quarantine mechanisms and throw all of the black pieces into the mix. This time, she will personally ascertain the gap in potential of white, of the natural calculation system, and of humanity. Following the fall of the Charnhall sisters, Z46 is next to challenge the white pieces. She inquires whether they are the ones who broke through all their defences. Upon finding out they were, she names them a brilliant opponent with a brilliant name. She introduces herself despite having no name and challenges them to a fight. She falls, blaming her defeat on her lack of combat experience, but nonetheless finds this world fascinating. It's so different from what she expected. Before they depart, she asks if next time they meet, they would play with her once more. Graf Zeppelin comments on what she considers the beautiful afterglow of a life being thrown away. She believes the existence of pitiful pieces worthy of annihilation gives meaning to her life and this war, before she too is struck down. Graf laments her fate, incomplete and just another piece, slowly witnessing its own destruction. It was not meant to be like this. In order to become strong enough to protect Ironblood, to protect my allies, I made so many sacrifices, annihilated so many enemies, just following orders. I tolerated becoming a piece for our detestable enemies. Mikage, just what are you planning out there? Tirpitz is the last one left standing. This battle is meaningless, but still, White presses on and she accepts this, wanting to be their resolve. But a fight would ultimately falls, coming to the realization that whoever her opponents were, they were chosen by the Creator as she does so. She finally understands the meaning of her dreams. There is another world beyond this mirrored one, a real world. In that world is a Tirpitz, fighting for the Ironblood and her own hopes and dreams, something she cannot do. She asks her opponent if they were to meet the surreal Tirpitz. They tell her that, I want you to fight proudly until the very end, forbidding farewell to herself beyond the mirror that she can never meet. Observing this, Tessa makes note of multiple pawns of achieving awakening at the same time, deeming this experiment a success. Observer is concerned if they steal the backup of the original, the war raging outside will be disrupted, but Tessa quells these worries. As long as the quarantine mechanisms are in place, they can't leave the Mirror Sea. White's evolution rate has surpassed the natural calculation system's simulations, and Tessa opts to stay behind to gather more data. She wants to confirm if they're offering their souls as a sacrifice, or if they're hoping to checkmate the two sirens. Tessa descends onto the battlefield, and as she does so, she takes note of the look in their eyes. She remembers someone asking them for power with eyes of disappointment, regret, and fear for the future. The white pieces are different, not because of nations, ideals, or memories, but because of their bonds with humans. She wants to find out if those are real, and that is what she, Tessa Beta, was created for. U-557 and U-47 have been recording these events, but U-47 is confused. He doesn't know how this fleet managed to appear again when it doesn't exist anymore. Any further questions are halted, however, as Observer appears before them. The two are startled by her sudden appearance and ability to evade their sonars and attempt to flee, but Observer can't just let them leave. She offers them the chance to become pawns for her so that she can gather more data. U-557 tells U-47 to go on without her. The enemy can't reach them at their max depth, and U-47 is faster. He will buy her some time. As U-47 leaves with the intel, Observer mocks them about their ability to run away, and asks how U-557 plans to get herself out of this. 557 ignores this and prepares to fight. Elsewhere, Tessa is elated. The system has begun deleting the backup of the original, and the white pieces have gone far beyond what the natural calculation system has simulated. The judge is pleased, and should things continue at the current rate, the Sirens will one day have what they need should they repeat the war over and over. She tells them to go, continue down the path they believe in to its final destination. Oh, my dear Creator, please tell me we will meet again someday. This is where Divergent Chessboard ends. It's not the best event to start the rest of the story, but it was the first release, so it's what we've got. As I said in the intro, it's not clear where this event fits in the timeline, or what it connects to. I've tried to keep it open as to who the white pieces are, since the event doesn't really make it clear whether it's another group of pawns or an actual fleet. U-47 mentions the commander a few times, so perhaps white was one of his fleets. It could explain why Tessa let them go at the end. Bombs with humans she was looking for, and white being just an illusion. Next time, we'll look at something more involved with the overarching plot. Visitors died in red. But until then, I'll catch you later.